and welcome to the Shakti Yoga Do's and How-To's section. All right, well, let us first begin by explaining that Shakti Yoga is here to empower you, for you to see and recognize who you really are. And we do that by practicing personal sovereignty. Shakti Yoga is all about self-empowerment in a sense that you get to choose what is right for you in this practice. If something that I'm teaching doesn't resonate with you, you have the personal sovereignty, personal choice, the liberty of incorporating it or not incorporating it into your practice and into your life. You can show up as you are, who you are, in whatever form that looks like. As the founder and teacher of Shakti Yoga, I want you to feel comfortable showing up as you are. You can come dressed as whatever you like or however you like. Showing up, being your vulnerable self and just ready and willing to learn with an open mind and an open heart to the love that wants to come in and heal you. That is all I ask of you, and that is all your higher self wants for you during this process. I also encourage you to do and try your best at everything that we do in class. Know that every day we wake up, we feel different. Some days we wake up feeling strong like Hercules, and other days we wake up feeling like Eeyore. So have compassion for yourself. Not every day is the same. We're all going through stuff and it affects us on an emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual level. And all of these things are going to affect our practice. But it is the practice itself that awakens you to these things that are inviting you to move through. So know that if you persevere and continue to do your best, you will experience beneficial results. Like a kung fu fighter, be intentional with your movements. Do not move chaotically or without knowing of what it is that you're doing. If you need more instruction, continue to look at the video's instructions, pause it, and really get a feel for the exercise. Move with it intuitively, what feels right as you're doing it. And also, in the times when you're not moving, the stillness will also speak to you. In the stillness, if we can practice the unity consciousness of oneness, then we can be very subtly aware of the frequencies that are wanting to come in to speak to us on a very subtle level. The act of stillness, it's what helps us elevate our psychic abilities because we're tuning in and tapping in to things outside of the senses. We're having to use our clairaudience, our clairvoyance, our clairsentience, our claircognizance to really get a feel of what it is that's happening on a cellular level within that stillness. And we'll feel them correspondingly in the physical body as we do the exercise. All right, now for the breathing portion. For the majority of all the kriyas, you will be breathing in and out of your nose unless otherwise instructed. Nasal breathing has tons of benefits for the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body, which I highly recommend you do a little Google search or YouTube search to further your understanding. Don't take everything I speak of as truth. Do your own experiments. Do your own questioning to really get a sense and feeling as to what works for you. This is the idea of practicing personal sovereignty. Ask those questions of why, and you will find your answer. All right, let's also talk about long, deep breathing and breath of fire, a breath technique that will be used very frequently throughout your Shakti yoga practice. All right, so to first start off, long, deep breathing is when we inhale through the nose, and through the inhalation process, the stomach expands. That's where the air goes. This is also called belly breathing. Long, deep breathing is also very helpful for clearing the lungs of the fear and blocks that live in this particular cavity. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see this process. So the inhale is through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Belly goes in. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Practice with me now. Really get a sense and feel what this is doing on a cellular level for you, on a mental level, on an emotional level, spiritual level, physical level. It's benefiting you in many different avenues. So this particular long, deep breathing is a technique that you'll use in replacement of breath of fire if you feel incapable of doing the breath of fire, which is the shortened, more powerful version of long, deep breathing that you can use to help, again, clear the lungs of the fear and the blocks. And long, deep breathing is also going to be used in replacement of breath of fire if you are on your menstrual cycle or you're pregnant, because during that particular time, there's a lot of apana happening, meaning energy that's moving downwards. There's a lot of detoxification happening. So we want to move that energy downwards and assisting with that with long, deep breathing. However, the breath of fire works in the prana way. Prana moves upward. So apana, downward, prana, upward. And the breath of fire being the catalyst in that movement of the Kundalini Shakti energy moving up the Sushmana Nadi, up through the crown and out into your auric field, back down again for another cycle. This is how it works. And the breath of fire, we're going to start off with doing something that feels a little odd and strange, but I want you to stick out your tongue and start panting like a dog. Be forceful with it. Notice that this is having the same effect on my belly region. And you're going to do this breath if you cannot get into sync and into rhythm of the breath of fire when using your nasal passage. So by closing the mouth and That was my dog. I love her so much. By closing the mouth and moving the breath in and out through the nose, we can accomplish the same benefits. Give it a try. Now know that as a person who's been doing this yoga for quite some time, you might not be able to go at my particular pace. That's okay. In Shakti Yoga, you are going at your own pace. That's practicing personal sovereignty. That's also practicing self-love and compassion and giving yourself grace, knowing that what the work that you're doing is having more benefits for you as opposed to going too fast. When we go too fast in any sort of exercise, especially when it comes to Shakti Yoga, the light or the prana, the Shakti, Kundalini, cannot move and work its way into those new channels, those nadis, those meridians of where the light wants to go to shine from the dark or the blockages that are there. And going slow allows that prana to push through that negativity or those blocks, those energy blocks. But when we go too fast, the prana is scattered and it's like it's missing those little nooks and crannies. It's like if you were to ever go canoeing down a river and say there's little canals that you can travel and explore and see different life and different sights. But had you not go down those canals, you'd be missing the beautiful interactions of the wildlife and the scenery had you not gone down that particular canal and only stayed in the flow of the river. So by going slow, by going at your own pace and not going too fast, finding that middle ground of getting the work done, not going too slow and being lazy about it, but that middle ground, that middle path that Buddha speaks of, that's where we want to be with this yoga practice. So throughout your practice, I'm going to say, all right, we're going to be using breath of fire. This breath technique is something that's going to be used very frequently. So it's important for you to rewatch this video until you get the technique down. And don't forget that you can, if you can't get it down quite yet, or if it just feels really uncomfortable, go into that long, deep breathing, that and you'll find your peace there. You'll find precisely what it is that you need, and eventually able to work your way into doing the breath of fire at a pace that works for you. All right, let's talk about how to end an asana. So I'm going to use the Ego Consolidator asana in this particular example. In this case, our forefingers are relaxed on the pads of our palms and our thumbs are out. Hands are in 60-degree angle. We're doing breath of fire. And then you'll hear me towards the end of the duration of the asana suspend the breath. So you'll first suspend the breath, breathe in, inflate the belly out by pushing it out. Then your tongue will touch the roof of your palate. Touching the roof of your palate with your tongue connects the upper trinity of chakras. So to open the crown to let even more divine light and life force energy to come in, and then you'll also pull up on your pelvic floor. The point up of the pelvic floor looks and feels like using the same muscles we would use to stop the urination process from happening by pulling up on those muscles. So I want you to just get a feel for those muscles right now as you pull up. And what this is doing is it's pulling that light that's sitting dormant, that Kundalini Shakti energy, up the Sushumna Nadi, pressing the tongue on the roof of the mouth. It enables that Kundalini Shakti to come up through the throat, past your ajna, out of your crown, into your auric field, and back down again for another cycle. Holding the breath suspends all of that light and locks it in to further push out into the nooks and crannies where it didn't get it from the movements you were doing, but by being still and holding the breath, it's pushing through even more of those dark nooks and crannies. You'll also want to gaze through your forehead chakra. So we have a forehead chakra and we also have a third eye chakra, or the ajna chakra. The ajna chakra is responsible for perceiving our reality, and the forehead chakra is responsible for projecting our reality or our imagination. So by having our eyes closed and looking through our forehead chakra, we are imagining our intentions that we went into the practice with the foresight of our pineal gland, of our forehead chakra, and envisioning that, lifting the veil so that we can see more clearly what and why we're doing what we're doing with intention. And then combining all of these aspects as part of the ending of the asana is going to seal all the work that you're doing into the body. So let's review that again. We're here, we're suspending the breath, pushing the belly out, pulling up on our pelvic floor, gazing through our forehead chakra. Tongue is on the roof of the mouth. We're holding it, we're holding it, we're holding it. And we release. And what's really beautiful is in that holding process, you're helping your lungs with the health of their current state of being. And you're also experiencing a beautiful lightness of being sensation, like almost like this lightheadedness. It's like a head high that you can experience by pushing the belly out, and then pulling up on your pelvic floor and tongue on the roof of the palate. It allows that energy to move up to the conscious awareness, your crown chakra. And when it reaches there, that's when you experience the head high. So you have something to look forward to with that. It also helps release the DMT located in the pineal gland. So experiencing very exquisite visions as part of this process is something that can be looked forward to. But don't put expectations on what it is that your practice is going to give you. Let the practice teach and show you what it wants to give you as appropriate. Know that we cannot control these benefits that we're getting from the yoga. We can only be aware of them. And by releasing any sort of expectation as to how our practice is supposed to go, we can just accept and perceive it for what it actually is and what it's doing for us. And the last thing I would like to speak of around ending asanas is ensuring that your spine is indeed straight as can be. This enables the Kundalini Shakti energy to move upwards in our Sushumna Nadi so that all the light can be reached in the places it needs the most. And having our spine not straight disables that energy from moving upwards. And just know that if your spine does not rest in a relaxed, straight state, know that this yoga will help get you there in time. Be patient with yourself and your results, and you will find peace, you will find benefits awaiting for you to awaken to. All right, I also want to speak of how we open class with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. I bow to the divine teacher, me, the guru within me. We are all gurus. We're all students as well. We all have something to teach as well as to learn from one another. So by opening our mind as well as our hearts, we can be open to the messages and the things that want to come to us to bring attention to, that need our attention. And indeed, when we do follow the intuitive guidance that comes through, we are bowing to it and showing our gratitude for the person that it's shape-shifting, sculpting us to be. So we start off by opening the floor to bowing to our divine inner teacher that has beautiful things it would love to share with us. We also end each kriya with a long Sat Nam. Sat Nam means truth is me, I am truth. This is highly recommended for you to adopt as your mantra. Sat Nam means that you live, you speak, and you act in accordance to your truth. And you will find what your truth is throughout this practice. It will become very apparent as long as you keep up with this particular practice. Do not be afraid of listening and hearing your own voice through chanting. By chanting, we force the throat chakra to open, to grow and expand and be healthy, because opening the throat chakra means that we are indeed able to speak our truth, to speak up for ourselves, to be the empowered beings that we are. So by ending our class with a long Sat Nam, we are giving power over to our truth by accepting our truth at the same time. And now the very last thing that I would like to speak of is making sure that you're practicing your yoga with your eyes closed as much as possible. As stated before, practicing with our eyes closed enables us to give us our full focused attention to the mindful awareness of what is happening to us on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level while we're in this practice. It also eliminates any and all distraction around us so that we're not comparing ourselves to our neighbor, and you're solely focused on your pace and what feels right for you in the moment. And by tuning in and tapping in to you and your needs throughout the practice, by closing your eyes and staying in that state of introspection, you will be acutely aware of the things that are coming up for you, that are calling for you to take action or to be aware of, so that you can actively heal or accept what is coming up for you, so that you can transform the parts of you that are not resonating with you anymore. This yoga is the practice of letting go so that we can receive the light, the life, and the healing that wants to come in and bless us. I look forward to seeing you in class. Sat Nam.